Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore and welcome back to my channel and to part 1 in my new podcast series entitled Pulpit Perverts. And today I want to talk to you about a case that had the internet on fire a few months ago involving Pastor Ralph West II, campus minister of the Church Without Walls in Houston, Texas, who will be ordered to pay over $2 million to a woman after a jury verdict finding him liable for giving her herpes.
Prominent Houston reverend ordered to pay $2.45 million to a woman that a jury found he gave herpes to.
Tonight, that woman's lawyer is speaking only to our Devin Clark, who's live outside the courthouse where the judgment was granted just this morning.
And in addition, I will discuss how yet another woman has come forward claiming that he gave her herpes too. And so, you better stick around until the end so I can get to the bottom of this as well. But now, before I go any further, I want to clarify that this is not related to his father, senior pastor of the Church Without Walls, and who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest preachers out there. This is his son, Ralph West II, and this is the danger in naming a child after you before you've had a chance to meet the person that they will grow up to be in the future. Because this boy has taken a wrecking ball to his father's name and to the family name.
Prominent Houston reverend ordered to pay $2.45 million to a woman that a jury found he gave herpes to.
Tonight, that woman's lawyer is speaking only to our Devin Clark, who's live outside the courthouse where the judgment was granted just this morning. Devin.
Chief Daniela, that attorney we spoke to, says it was a 3-day trial with 6.5 hours of deliberations. And after that, a jury found Reverend Ralph D. West II liable and ordered that hefty judgment.
Right, it can't fix it. She's got it for the rest of her life.
Attorney Sean Murphy is speaking for his client, who a jury found contracted genital herpes from Reverend Ralph D. West II after meeting off Facebook. As seen here on the Church Without Walls website, he's listed as the Eldridge campus minister.
Now, the allegations made by this victim number 1 in civil lawsuit number 1 filed on March the 24th, 2020 reflects that, quote, Ralph West II is an assistant pastor and minister at the Church Without Walls located in Houston, Texas. He is the director of assimilation and academy daycare programs. Now pay attention to that, parents. Now, he first contacted plaintiff on social media, specifically through Facebook messaging on or about February of 2017. Defendant indicated that he was a fan and admirer of hers and would like to get to know her better. As it appeared that both had a lot in common, both in life experiences, principles, and values, plaintiff and Minister West began to communicate with each other through Facebook messaging as well as other electronic and telephonic means, and continue to do so through May of 2017. During this time, the parties had extensive communications and conversations regarding morals, values, principles, Christian beliefs, relationships, and sexual intimacy. Plaintiff made it clear to Ralph West II that she believed in and expected honesty, truthfulness, and transparency in relationships. Plaintiff also made it clear to him that because of these foundational principles, she did not date much and was also overly protective of her health and well-being. Now, during these communications and conversations, Minister West repeatedly represented that he was a man of God, that he shared the same foundational beliefs in honesty, truthfulness, and transparency, that he had been tested in the past, and that he was free and clean of any sexually transmitted diseases. Now, on or about May the 14th, 2017, plaintiff agreed to attend a church service at the Church Without Walls and further agreed to have dinner with Minister West afterwards. After attending the church service and later the same evening, Minister West sent an Uber to pick plaintiff up and return her to his home. Now, shortly thereafter, Minister West and plaintiff went to dinner. And later that same evening, Minister West and plaintiff first had sexual relations using protection. Following the first encounter, Minister West and plaintiff continued to date and engage in sexual relations on occasions with protection and on other occasions without protection. On or about the end of March 2018, and within a few days of having engaged in sexual relations with Minister West, plaintiff began to have pain in her genital region along with painful urination. In on or about the beginning of April 2018, plaintiff presented to her obstetrician and gynecologist with this sudden onset of symptoms that she had never experienced before. Her OBGYN ordered an IgG blood test, suspecting that the plaintiff had been recently infected with the herpes simplex virus. Now, on or about April 16, 2018, plaintiff's OBGYN informed her that she had tested positive for herpes simplex 2, aka genital herpes. Plaintiff promptly confronted the defendant, the only person with whom she had had any sexual intimacy with for the past 3 years, with the news. And Minister West initially denied being infected with genital herpes and denied infecting the plaintiff. And after accepting proof that the plaintiff had tested negative for genital herpes in the past and had not had any sexual relations with any other individual for at least 2 years prior to meeting Minister West, he went ahead and admitted to the plaintiff that he knew he had genital herpes before meeting the plaintiff and that he had been infected by the mother of his son. Now, I don't know why in the world he would say this, because now his son has to grow up and learn about his father accusing his mother of giving him herpes. Oh, but anyway, y'all, let me stay focused, because the plaintiff further alleges that subsequently, and compounding Minister West's concealment and misrepresentation, he attempted to intimidate her to remain silent by both in thought and with physical intimidation. Minister West made suggestions to plaintiff that Christians don't take other Christians to court, and that Christians turn the other cheek and forgive. He also told her to marry me, as no other man will want to be with you, and your family and father would be devastated by this news. And so the verbal intimidation turned to physical intimidation. Minister West attempted to shame the plaintiff into silence by contacting her father and informing him of the plaintiff's genital herpes infection. Minister West had an officer approach her, and the officer threatened that if plaintiff did not remain silent, Minister West would reveal videos of the plaintiff that allegedly portrayed her in a negative light, end quote. And so, plaintiff sued under the civil legal theories of battery, infliction of bodily injury, intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraud through intentional concealment, and fraud through intentional misrepresentation, seeking monetary relief in the amount of over $1 million.
The things that we look at for cases like these are essentially 4 things. Is the defendant infected, and how can we prove it? Did he know he was infected? And, how do we prove, and do we have evidence of that?
Not only does Murphy say they were able to prove those facts, but also that West lied when asked about having herpes, and that he gave it to his client after they had unprotected sex in March of 2018.
She got an outbreak 2 or 3 days later, went in and got tested, and from there able, through the medical records, able to identify that he was the source of it, in part because she hadn't been with anybody else. She had had a prior negative test.
Murphy says subsequent conversations supported the claims.
When she asks, where did this come from? his response was his son's mother,
He adds there were also emails between West and his client.
where she accuses him of knowing he had it, of giving it to her, and there's other allegations about not caring about me, that kind of thing.
The response, Murphy says, was telling.
He never once denied that he had it or that he knew he had it.
Now, in her statement of the case that she filed just prior to the jury trial on October the 2nd, 2023, plaintiff provides even more clarifying details in which she states, quote, that she is a model and entrepreneur who provides consulting services to businesses in the fashion industry and to ministries helping with video and production services. She states further that on May the 14th, 2017, she traveled from Louisiana to Houston to meet Minister West when they had protected sexual relations for the first time. She further contends that she agreed to have sexual relations with Minister West only because he told her that he did not have any sexually transmitted diseases. She contends that Minister West was infected, that he knew he was infected, and that he failed to disclose that to her. Minister West denies that he knew he was infected or that he intentionally failed to tell her before they had sexual relations. End quote. Now, based on the court's docket sheet, the jury trial began on October the 4th, 2023, and ended when the jury rendered its verdict in favor of the plaintiff on October the 11th, 2023, finding Minister West liable for giving the plaintiff herpes and awarding her in excess of $2 million. But due to some stall tactics on the part of Minister West, namely his claim that he was seeking substitute counsel to engage in an appeal of the matter, the judgment has not yet been signed and entered by the court. But on December the 11th, 2023, the plaintiff's attorneys again submitted the judgment for signing by the judge to take place on January the 8th, 2024, or as soon thereafter as the judge sees fit to do so. And as you can see on the proposed final judgment, it states that plaintiff shall have and recover from Minister West the total sum of $2.2 million in compensatory and punitive damages, which includes $150,000 in compensatory damages for physical pain and mental anguish in the past, $1.3 million for physical pain and mental anguish that will be sustained in the future, and $750,000 in exemplary damages, again for a total of $2.2 million, which will accrue post-judgment interest from the date of judgment until paid in full in the amount of 5% per year, and that is roughly interest in the amount of $301.37 per day, if my math is correct. Now, my only problem with this proposed judgment is the fact that it does not specify that it is directed to Ralph West II, because when you share the same name with your father, well, I'm just saying, but I guess that ain't none of my business. And after all of this, you probably are not shocked to learn that yet another woman has filed another lawsuit against Minister West on November the 8th, 2023, alleging that he also gave her herpes. And I will cover the facts of this case when I come back with part 1B. Now, as you can see, the proposed judgment sets forth a total award for plaintiff in this case in the amount of $2.2 million rather than the reported $2.45 million. But whether it's $2.2 million or $2.5 million, it's still a lot of money together with interest in the amount of $301 per day until it's paid in full. But the question is it enough to be stuck with herpes? And will she ever see a dime of this money?
West declined to comment. Murphy says his client does feel a sense of relief and vindication, but aside from that $2.45 million she was granted, she hopes that this story sends a clear message to anyone who knowingly puts their partner at risk for STDs. Reporting live outside of the Harris County Civil Courthouse, Devin Clark, KPRC 2 News.
All right, Devin, thank you.
But what do you think? Do you think $2 million is enough to compensate the plaintiff for all that she went through? And do you think Minister West's father will help him to pay off this judgment in light of the fact that he will likely be hit with another large judgment or settlement? And do you think there are yet other women out there who will be filing even more lawsuits against Minister West? Please let me know what you think by leaving your comments in the comment section below. And I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this video and my entire channel ministry by donating to the ProfessorBlackmore.com Cash App. And I hope you'll also subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more hot tea from the courthouse, the church house, and everywhere else, honey child. And whenever I come back with part 1B in my new podcast series entitled Pulpit Perverts. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.